Here we are, week 17. That's it. I know some of you are still playing your championships, so we have our regular, and I know a lot of you are playing in DFS. Hopefully more of you playing DFS than playing your season-long championships. It's a tough week. Week 17, injury review, preview, update, overview thing we like to do here at footballdiehards.com. I'm Bob Harris, your senior editor here. And it's extensive. No surprise, and there's a lot of mystery, so you're going to have to be ready to work on the fly tomorrow. Some of the initial things, I'll go through all the games individually in order, but I mean, some of the things you'll have to be prepared to deal without. DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss this game with an injury. The Steelers unlikely to play their starters. Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell not expected to play. Antonio Brown already ruled out. Melvin Gordon is questionable. The Rams won't play their starters. Todd Gurley, they've already announced, will not play. There'll be no Jared Goff. The top three receivers, Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods, are unlikely to play. So, and the Philadelphia Eagles, there's quite a bit of mystery there. So I'll go through the games, though. A lot of late afternoon kickoffs. The league trying to keep it interesting throughout the day. There's no Sunday night game, so everything happens in the day. We'll start out in the early window. The Browns and Steelers, as I mentioned, Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. Brown will not play. Do not expect Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell. Neither practice Friday. Marcus Gilbert, their teammate, said the plan is not to play them. Landry Jones will be your quarterback of record, most likely. And he's fared, it's been a mixed bag with him. I will note he had some success with Martavis Bryant a couple games in 2015 when the two played together. Bryant had a couple big games, a 2-touchdown game, a 3-touchdown game. So all is not lost. We'll see how long those receivers play and how long they get the bottom of the depth. All your Browns are healthy and ready to go. Everyone came off the injury report on Friday. For the Eagles, again, we're just not sure how long Nick Foles is going to play. He's preparing to play the whole game. A lot of code words used. Playing to win, preparing to play, things like that for a lot of these teams. So it's going to be something you're going to need to check. It's a risky play playing the Eagles, I think. Could see a little limited dose of Jay Ajayi, Alshon Jeffrey, could be Nick Foles. They talked about wanting to get a look at Nate Sudfeld, the backup quarterback this week. So even though they think Nick Foles needs the reps, don't know how long he'll be in there. On the other side of the ball, Rod Smith is questionable with an illness. Cole Beasley was left at home due to illness, so he will not play. Maybe Ryan Switzer we get a look at as the third receiver, kind of a clone of Beasley. And Dez Bryant came off the injury report. The Texans at the Colts. DeAndre Hopkins, as I mentioned, ruled out with a calf injury. He really wanted to play. He's played 79 straight games his entire career. And this will be his first miss, and it comes in a great matchup. On the other side of the ball, Dante Moncrief is questionable. Haven't seen him for a while. Don't know what my expectations would be. Do like T.Y. Hilton, a guy, if you check my DFS 3 and out column, I make a pretty good case for playing him because he's damn good against the Texans. So keep that in mind. Redskins at Giants. Giants will be without Sterling Shepard. They'll be without Evan Engram. They'll be without Tavares King. Their top receiver will be Roger Lewis. Their top tight end, Red Ellison. It's going to be a tough game, other side of the ball. Everyone is off the injury report that's of interest. Guys that haven't already been previously ruled out or placed on IR, say Jordan Reed. So keep that in mind. Kirk Cousins has a little something to play for, right? Called a contract. So, and it's a great matchup for Kirk Cousins. Interesting to see what he can do in this one. Jets and Patriots. Mike Gillislee and Rex Burkhead both ruled out for this one. James White, Chris Hogan both listed as questionable. Could be another Dion Lewis heavy day, right? Expect that. Rob Gronkowski had an illness on Thursday. He was removed from the injury report on Friday. Tom Brady also removed on Friday. Matt Forte on the other side of the ball listed as questionable. Austin Seferian-Jenkins listed as doubtful. Seems like he will not play with the rib and foot injuries. So there you have that. Don't know if I have a lot of hope for the Jets. Sounds like they'll play some Christian Hackenberg this week. We get a look. I don't know if we want to see it, but we might get a look. And how much worse can it be than Bryce Petty? And every time I say something can't be worse, it gets worse. So the Packers at Lions. Packers will be playing without Aaron Jones, without Jordy Nelson, without Devontae Adams, without Richard Rodgers, the tight end. Geronimo Allison is questionable. So a lot of underliers going against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Brett Hundley's been better on the road, right? So watch guys like Michael Clark, maybe. Randall Cobb, certainly. So there's some guys there that are maybe some interest lower end of the salary scale in DFS and season long. A little nerve-wracking, but been better on the road. The Lions, everybody's off the injury report, including Eric Ebron, so good news for that. He was a little limited earlier in the week. The Bears at Vikings. Adam Shaheen listed as questionable again this week. Hasn't played the last 2 games. Same situation that we've seen the last 2 weeks. I don't know that he'll play. I don't know if they'll try and play him. Could be Jordan Howard seems to be the answer to the Vikings' chances or the Bears' chances of offensive success, at least keeping the pressure off Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know if they'll succeed. The Vikings are playing for a better seed in the playoffs, so they have something to play for. So you got to like that. Late afternoon kickoffs. We'll start with the 49ers at Rams, where we will not see, as I mentioned, Jared Goff. We will not see Todd Gurley. We will not see, most likely, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, or Sammy Watkins. We will see Malcolm Brown and Sean Mannion. Malcolm Brown will likely handle the featured role, could share with Justin Davis and Lance Dunbar. Just remember, before you get too excited, Andrew Whitworth and John Sullivan, starting tackle, starting center, will not play in this game also. They will be down some guys on defense too, which works in the 49ers' favors. And by the way, everyone's off the injury report for the 49ers. Marquise Goodwin back. Trent Taylor had a shoulder issue. And both tight ends, or the top 2 tight ends, Garrett Selleck and George Kittle, both off the injury report. So healthy 49ers going against a depleted Rams. Could be another good Jimmy G day, right? Jimmy Garoppolo faring well. Raiders at Chargers. The big decision of the day is Melvin Gordon listed as questionable. Sounds like he's trending in the right direction. He's been questionable 4 times this year. Has played every single time. Sounds like they have something on the line here. They need a win, right, to keep their hopes alive. It's the Raiders is a good matchup. So everyone off the Raiders injury report, including Amari Cooper. By the way, if Gordon can't go, Brandon Oliver would be the starter and handle the bulk of the work. Austin Eckler not on the injury report, but still dealing with the broken hand, wearing a huge club on it last week. So maybe limited to special teams. Jaguars at Titans. It's a big game. DeMarco Murray's out. Get your Derrick Henry ready, right, people? That's what you've been waiting for all year. Wanted to play Derrick Henry with a full workload. He's been very good when given carries, so we're excited to see that. Jaguars have been better against the run since they acquired Marcel Darius from the Buffalo Bills, but still not the worst of matchups. So we'll all get a good long look at one Derrick Henry, you would think, this game. Both teams, Titans need to win this game to stay alive. Jaguars don't want the Titans to beat them, though. They could have to face them in the playoffs if they don't, so that would be a good thing. Marquise Lee ruled out for the Jaguars. Keelan Cole off the injury report. Alan Hearns off the injury report. Blake Bortles good to go. You wonder how much offense we'll see in this one. They haven't been running the ball effectively, the Jaguars, with Leonard Fournette. Maybe they'll try a little harder, but the passing game has kind of been their bread and butter. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this game. They're in the playoffs, but would still like a win, and Doug Marrone said they'll play to win. Again, kind of code there, play to win. Chiefs at Broncos. Alex Smith will not play. Patrick Mahomes, the rookie quarterback, will get the start. We're all excited to see what he can do. He'll do it without Tyreek Hill, who has been ruled out. And this one sounds like had some personal issues, maybe a death in the family or something, so they're giving him the day off. We'll see how much Travis Kelce and Kareem Hunt play. Interesting that Charkandrick West and Akeem Hunt, the other 2 running backs, both listed as questionable. Maybe Kareem Hunt will be forced into a little more action. He needs 14 yards, Kareem Hunt, to pass Todd Gurley for the rushing title. Bet that he gets at least 15. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine, honestly. This is Andy Reid has a history of sitting starters when he doesn't have to play them, so I would not expect to see them long, but you never know. Other side of the ball, Paxton Lynch will start at quarterback. Emmanuel Sanders and Cody Lattimore ruled out for a second straight week. That leaves Demaryius Thomas as the top downfield threat. Last time Paxton Lynch played, he threw 4 passes, completed 4 passes to Demaryius Thomas for 12 yards. Downfield threat. Benny Fowler and Jordan Taylor will be in that mix as well. Could be another big C.J. Anderson day, or a heavy usage day for C.J. Anderson in this one. Saints at Buccaneers, another one with things on the line. Deshaun Jackson listed as questionable with an ankle injury. Chris Godwin questionable with an ankle. Cameron Brate questionable with hip and knee injuries. Seems like Deshaun Jackson's trending towards playing. Not sure about Godwin. He got the start last week with Jackson out. I think Jackson's a foot, by the way. My bad on that. And Brate, my guess is he'll try to play God on the field on a limited basis, but don't know what I would expect there. But a game where there's things on the line, right? So at least for the Saints. So something to play for both teams. Dirk Cutter apparently will keep his job. The Bills at the Dolphins. This one's interesting to me from a fantasy perspective. Bills have something to play for. Stay alive, at least have a hope to get in the playoffs. So they need a win. The Dolphins have no reason to preserve themselves, so I would expect another heavy dose of Kenyon Drake this week. Damian Williams listed as doubtful again. Devontae Parker is questionable. The other side of the ball, Kelvin Benjamin off the injury report. Deontay Thompson got hurt in practice on Thursday. He's listed as questionable. Don't know what I expect, but I think Tyrod Taylor would be a good play. I think obviously LaShawn McCoy a good play as well. So and Kenyon Drake, I'd be playing all those guys. This should be an interesting game. Cardinals at the Seahawks. Kerwin Williams and Elijah Penny both listed as questionable. Quad and ribs for Kerwin Williams. He's been playing through those last couple weeks. Penny has a hand and groin injuries. A big bruising back. Would be interested to see what he can pull off here if we could get a look at him against the Seahawks and what the Cardinals call a home game. They're at Seattle, but they think they've fared well there. So Bruce Arians giving a little digs to the Seahawks. Could be the last game for Larry Fitzgerald. We don't know yet what his future holds. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well. Luke Wilson on the other side of the ball listed as questionable. Jimmy Graham off the injury report. Bengals are at the Ravens. Bengals will have Joe Mixon is questionable. Giovanni Bernard off the injury report. Bernard has played phenomenal football with Mixon out. Mixon started last week, injured his ankle early. That's the problem this week. He had missed the previous 2 games with concussion. And Bernard has filled in more than capably last week. A high end play last week. On the other side of the ball, Jeremy Maclin listed as doubtful. Don't expect him to play. Mike Wallace questionable. He should play. Don't see any reason why he wouldn't. He worked on a limited basis, much as he has the last couple of weeks. And the Panthers and Falcons, everyone's off the injury report. Devin Funchess, Russell Shepard, both removed. It'll be the first game for Greg Olsen on artificial turf since he aggravated his injury on artificial turf against the Jets. Played the last couple games at home, so on the more forgiving surface. So he's eager to test that out. Should be a heck of a ball game there. Falcons, everyone's on board. Julio Jones off. Well, Levine Toilolo is out for the Falcons, but that's one less guy to vulture touchdowns, right? So there we have it, Week 17. We're going to go ahead and go through the postseason with a limited content. I won't be doing the constant flow of updates, but we will have the news and views. So anything important you'll be caught up to date on. We'll have full rankings every week. Tons of DFS content going up from John Lobb, Armando Marsal, myself. We'll have Brad Cruz will be on board. I'm sure JJ Buck. All the people that you've been accustomed to will get some DFS content up for you. We'll have tournament style rankings. So postseason long rankings for you to use. We'll have each week rankings. So we got you covered. DFS content again will be covered. So check it out. I'll be on the Football Diehards on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio Sunday morning as usual with Jeff Manns at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Doing our final pregame show of the season. Then Mike Dempsey and I will continue on for another week from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll go to our Saturday night show where we like to grind all off season and get really dig deep on some of the issues and try to get take a long look at how things went and what we need to adjust going forward, because I think that's always good for all of us. So anyhow, I hope you're about to win a championship. I hope you already won one last week. Let's face it. This is a tough week to navigate. So we'll be here for you. Check the website through all the kickoffs tomorrow. We'll be posting all the inactives instead of focusing just on game time decisions because a lot of weird stuff goes on. But we'll have you covered. So we'll see you then, and good luck. And thanks for a great season. Really appreciate all of you, and look forward to taking care of you through the postseason, those who are playing on.